Hey guys, another episode of Smooth Flight here today. It is Friday, October 17th. It's around 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. Here today, just like in my previous episodes, to give you some insights into what to expect on your flights this week, near term, long term as well through the rest of the week, but more near term, what we can expect in terms of turbulence and weather, how the weather patterns are shaping out, what routes may have some turbulence and bumps that I know if you're on this channel, you're looking to avoid that. As I mentioned before, planes are safe. Pilots try to keep us safe, but certainly there are regions of the country every day that we can fly through that will experience some turbulence. So if you want to try to minimize your chances of running into one of those, you've come to the right channel here. Smooth Flight. This is my third episode. I've done a couple, including a longer intro video. Bear with me, as I mentioned in my first video a few days ago. I'm just still learning how to use all these video tools, and my production values will increase over time, and I'll try to be more concise with the info I give you, but we'll try going forward to keep these videos to under 5 or under 10 minutes and just walk you through some parts of the country where you can look for turbulence and give you some clues as to, what kind of flights you may look to change into, what days you may look to shift your flights to, times of the day, etc., to try to minimize your chances to encounter turbulence. So without further ado, I will stop there and then shift over to some of the tools I use and get discussing there. Okay, guys, let's start off by taking a look tomorrow, October 18th, at what some of the weather maps, national forecast charts are showing us. There's a particular region I'm more concerned about than others tomorrow, and it's this region here. You're talking about the stretching really from the Midwest down to the south through Texas, but in particular this area around Arkansas. You can see it's flagged as severe thunderstorms possible and heavy rain flash flooding possible. So what you're going to see tomorrow, unfortunately, on flights passing through this area and through this cold front here, and you see the low pressure zones signified here. And as I've noted in the past, low pressure means higher winds in general. Pressure is inversely related to winds. Where you see H on maps are high pressure zones. Usually you have calmer weather and calmer wind most of the time. And when you see H and L near each other, you have a differential of pressure near each other. And when you have a pressure differential by the laws of fluid mechanics, you get faster winds, wind flowing from a high pressure region to a low pressure to try to balance out. So those are also tricky areas. But this one tomorrow that I'm looking at, I want to flag that if you are going to fly tomorrow in any of these regions, you do want to look at flying earlier in the day because the storms are going to start building in the afternoon and evening. So if you are looking, for example, to get to Chicago to Dallas, Chicago to Houston tomorrow, Minnesota down to Texas, Detroit down to Texas, if you really need that direct flight, you need to go in the morning of October 18th, or you want to wait another day. And I'll show you on October 19th, you can see that there's still a low pressure trough that comes in here that's affecting the upper Midwest, Great Lakes area. But if you want to really head down from those areas I mentioned down to Texas, it's going to be a little bit smoother. So if you can delay your flight by another day, I would recommend that if that's if that's the routing you're taking. The other option I have for you tomorrow is if you really need to fly down there from one of those sort of upper Midwest, kind of northeasty areas, you might want to get yourself down, change the flight, get down to Atlanta area, maybe connect in Atlanta, maybe connect in Florida, and you kind of circumvent some of this weather. But it is going to be choppy anywhere near this tomorrow, so I do want to flag that. Colorado also, we are seeing, it's been bumpy there last few days. It often is quite bumpy around Colorado, but tomorrow there's a storm system moving in. Monday, winds are due to pick up as well. There's a little bit of a break in the weather on Sunday, if that's what you're looking for flying in and out of Colorado. Sunday may be your better bet. Tuesday, the winds are a little bit lower as well. I expect it's going to be more of a lower level issue, lower level as in landing and takeoff out of Colorado. You will probably still see some bumps flying over the region if you're crossing the country. So you're going from California to New York. But generally speaking, I think more of the issue is going to be on the lower levels. Let's take a look at the Jetstream forecast on metcheck.com. Jetstream shows you where winds are. If I go out to the 24-hour zone, what you're going to see here for tomorrow, October 18th, you are going to see a jet stream of higher winds flowing right through that Colorado area. Jet stream doesn't always mean heavy turbulence, but if you have high winds and you have sharp directional changes in the jet stream, you will tend to see bumpier rides in that region. Pilots will try to avoid it, but sometimes they simply can't. Let's move to the clearer turbulence charts. I want to pull up what I did are already flagged here. 24-hour clear air turbulence forecast from Metcheck. Sure enough, I clicked landing and takeoff here. You can see some red kicking in here in the plains in Colorado. So do expect some bumps to come in there. Looking ahead for the rest of the week, let's go to the 72-hour mark and let's pull up a landing, takeoff, clear air turbulence. You're still going to see that issue. Believe if I looked carefully earlier in the day and I was looking out days ahead, once you get to altitude later this week, the flights across the country, excluding storm regions like the one I just flagged for tomorrow, will be smoother air. Now, the problem is you can't ignore the storms. What you're looking at here are the clear air turbulence charts. But what I was referring to earlier when we started the discussion was the storms tomorrow. What's going to happen actually is that storm you can see on Sunday, October 19th, it's going to start shifting with this cold front out east. So some of the weather you've seen or you're seeing now or you're seeing tomorrow in that area flagged from Texas up to the Midwest, that's going to push east. Things are going to get a little bit choppier out east. If I pull up for example, Texas tomorrow, Saturday, you're going to see strong storms possible in the afternoon. Kind of similar thing I saw down in Houston, a little bit less stormy in Houston, but still wind and storms. But certainly something to look out for there. Let's pull up the turbulence forecast for the rest of the week, and we'll wrap up there. Again, I go to the 24-hour chart. You can see that mess developing here. But let's look out 48 and 72 hours for you. Again, the storm pushing out east, a little bit better here. Sunday, you're still going to get rougher, if I can say windier weather in Denver. But again, as I mentioned, if you need to fly out of there, probably a little bit better Sunday than it will be Saturday and Monday. But if an update is needed, I will update you guys before that time. Looking out to the 72-hour zone, again, that area, Colorado, Monday, as I mentioned, you get back into some more storm activity a little bit harder. There's going to be the area of the sort of Midwest that clears out. But generally speaking, from the Pacific Northwest over across, going to get a little bit bumpy. California better. You do see this low pressure trough sitting over Eastern California. I've seen last few days, and maybe we'll see next couple of days as this sticks around, some wind around that Southern California, San Bernardino, Los Angeles area. Something to keep an eye on. And if we wrap up later in the week, you can see the east starts to clear out. Some of the storm activity moves further out. Again, you still get that choppiness though in the plains. So look, more to come in the coming days. I'll update you guys on what we see. Let's take a quick peek at what we're seeing right now on aviationweather.gov. You are seeing a couple of moderate turbulence reports here, Phoenix and Colorado. Rest of the week or in the coming days, Phoenix should clear out and Arizona should clear out. This is a bit different than we saw a few days ago when we saw that big storm activity and the moisture come from the hurricanes down by Mexico. So a little bit better there. But look, we're getting into fall. Weather's going to be a bit choppier. We got out of the summer. Summer, usually what you experience is the storms more in the afternoon and evening. Earlier in the day, it's easier to fly. Fall is usually a good season for flying compared to the winter and the spring, but you do see changes in air masses and weather fronts, and things take time to sort of shape out. But what we're seeing so far is a little bit of a choppier sky in October. So more to come this week. I'll update you guys in the days ahead, and I'll leave it there for today. Have a good rest of your Friday, October 17th.